Hey guys, it's Coach Ryan F from Alzago Endurance. So today, this is the counterpunch. This is the counterpunch of the article that I posted below, about where I talk about my displeasure and my rampant disgust for people going into the mountains to hike, and they're absolutely unprepared for what they're getting themselves into. I saw it last week in Colorado. We were out hiking a trail, and people were hiking a pretty significant, a pretty difficult trail, which was cold and icy, with spaghetti striped tank tops on, t-shirts, Chuck Taylors, skinny jeans. Like, no, please no. So I don't want you to do that. And so instead of just ranting and raving about it, which I'm gonna do because I gotta get that off my chest, this is the solution. So this video is to show you what I would take with me when I go into the mountains, so that you can think critically about what you need to take as you start going into the mountains, you start doing these self-supported runs. And it's important that it's not just going into the mountains at 12,000 feet or in the high country, but it's something that's self-supported. So even if you're, let's say at 500 or 600 feet, but you're 20 miles outside of civilization, if you were to fall, you need to be able to take care of yourself. You're essentially responsible for yourself if shit happens. So let's look at the things we got to think about, okay? So before we go anywhere, we need to know where we're going. So we know where we're going. If we're going to a new place, we're taking a map, we understand where we're going to park, and we just are going to be safe. Map's the easiest way. You might have it on your phone, but you might not have reception. So some sort of documentation of where you're going, okay? Then when you know where you're going to tell someone. So myself, if I was going to go, let's say in Colorado and go for a run on my own, I would tell my fiance Jess where I'm going so she understands where I'm going, and she knows that if something were to happen to me, I didn't come home, she would know where to look. When? Now we need to know when we're going. The later you go in the day, the more likely it is you're going to run into poor weather. The inverse of that, if you go in the morning, you're less likely to run into bad weather. So go in the morning. Start early, especially when you're new. If you're going to do something that's like 8 or 10 hours, start early in the morning, get over the top pretty early, and speak already coming down or already in an area where you're not exposed when the bad weather can possibly roll in. So we've got this already. We got our plan. We told someone. We know when we're going. Now we're going to go out, okay? So what do we need? So let's start at the bottom. You're new to trail running or mountain running. You need a good shoe. So you need a good shoe with some good traction. Not only to go up, not only to go across, but to go down, because this is when you will bust your ass. And this is when the people last weekend that were hiking in Chuck Taylors were slip sliding all over the place when they were trying to descend. If you're going into a place that's going to be super icy, especially in the spring as things melt and as things start to freeze again, get a pair of micro spikes. These are Katula micro spikes. You can get them at REI, most outdoor stores. They're really simple. They have spikes on the bottom, okay? You will put the front over the front part of your shoe. You grab the back part, you pull, and you now have essentially a crampon. And you can use these in the craziest conditions. They will do fantastic with ice and with really slippery conditions. And then when you get to the bottom, you don't need them anymore. You just bend down, take it off, okay? These are great. Get a pair of these. These should be in your bag all the time. Now we know what's on our feet. Clothes should go without saying. You're wearing shorts, you're wearing a t-shirt, something that's going to keep you warm. But you realize that as you increase with elevation, so as you get higher and higher, it is going to get colder and colder, probably more windy, and also more of a chance for a storm to come in. So if you're going higher, you're wearing something that's going to keep you warm. It's not like running outside where you're going to heat up 15, 20 degrees if you're just running outside of your house. But as you go up, you might be heating up, but you're going to lose that feeling when you heat up because you're getting higher. Okay. Now we got to take all this stuff with us somehow, right? So we're going to take a pack. Okay. This is an Innovate Race Elite 15-liter pack. It is waterproof. I recommend getting a waterproof pack if you don't have one, especially if you're going to do longer self-supported things. Because if a storm does blow in, you want the things that are inside here to stay dry. You're going to want to take a phone, something with you to communicate. Some people use a prepaid phone with like 30 minutes on it in case something were to happen. They don't have to worry about their iPhone getting wet or breaking their Galaxy S4. They just use a flip phone. They can call, and they are able to communicate. People can communicate with them. You can also look at getting something like a spot device or a GPS tracker that someone can track you where you're going. You see some people doing some fastest known time routes, and they don't have cell phone service, but they carry a spot with them, so the GPS can ping and they can locate where they are. So a good pack is essential, something to carry the things that you need. Another thing that I recommend is gear-wise. So we're looking at gear-wise and not necessarily clothing-wise right now. Is a pair of hiking poles. If you're really going to be self-supported, these are great for newer runners. These are the Black Diamond Ultimate Direction. They come in 3 pieces. They quickly snap into 1 piece. Okay, nice and easy. And then if you just press the button, you can break it down. These are also great too from a medical standpoint. If you were ever to fracture something and you needed to create a splint, that with a little bit of gauze, and now you've just splinted your forearm. You can even, you could splint your whole arm if you needed to as well, but just, like that, you can splint your whole arm together. So these are great from a standpoint as well, especially if you're going out and it's gonna be pretty hairy. Other things to think about, if you're going out at night, throwing a headlamp in there. I just keep a headlamp in at all times in case something were to happen with some extra batteries. And then I have basically various oh shit bags. And oh shit bags have some sort of combination of food, pills, so like Tums, Tylenol, those sorts of things. I always carry a knife with me. I also carry some iodine tablets, so this helps me if I need to make more water. So it's just potable agua. It says you unscrew it. This has been there for a little bit, and they're just little. They're little like brown tabs, and you just put that in some water. You put 1 or 2 of them in water, and you let it dissolve, and that will basically give you potable water that you can drink. So I'm always prepared on the food and the water front. Now, in terms of water, you can carry water different ways. You can carry it in a water bottle, or you can carry it in a hydration pouch. In my bag, I have a 2-liter hydration pouch with a hose. Does me just fine. I'll always take about ½ liter more water than I need, because you want to make sure you have enough water. If you're going in the winter where it's cold, the hose might freeze, so keep that in mind. You might want to take some water bottles, or you can get some insulation for the hose so that it doesn't freeze. Now, in terms of clothing, the main things that you can get for clothing, I will always keep a buff in my bag. This will help to protect me if I'm getting sunburn. It'll help to act as a hat if I'm cold, and I always keep some gloves in there as well. So this helps me in wet or in warm or cold, and the gloves are obviously good to keep my hands warm. Especially again, as you're going higher, it's good to get colder outside. The other main piece that you're going to need is a waterproof jacket. Okay, waterproof, not water resistant. Waterproof means that the seams are waterproof. It'll have a hood, and you will not get wet wearing this. Because what happens is, especially as you go higher and you start encountering these storms, if you get wet, that's when you start going to get hypothermic and you're going to run into trouble. If you can stay dry during a storm, once the storm passes, you might have a blue sky and you're completely fine to keep your run going. So this is super small. I mean, it's super lightweight. It folds into basically nothing. I mean, I can make it even smaller than this if I want to. There. I mean, that's nothing, right? You could even wrap it around your waist if you wanted to. This goes easily in your bag and will keep you dry, right? So those are some basic things that you're gonna wanna think about when you head into the mountains. Again, it's not an exhaustive list. And as you become more experienced, you can decide to leave some things at home and take some more things that you might need. But you're gonna want to keep these things in mind, is as you go out into the mountains, you need to be safe and you need to be prepared, because you don't want to be the person out there hiking in shorts and to be the person hiking in flip-flops, because that's just absolutely unnecessary. So if you have any information, you have any things to add, questions, go ahead and leave me a comment below, or you can email me, ryan@milestogoendurance.com. Hope you have fun with your running. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure to stay safe.